7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
This is Eat and Drink with Ali Hassan and Marco Timpano, the podcast where back of house Ali and front of house Marco talk food and drink. Heads up, these two spent decades in restaurants, so some mature content and language is bound to come up. Get ready for Eat and Drink. Forks up.
Hey! We're back.
Was that the way to open the show?
Yeah.
Hey.
You sound kind of like a backwards Fonz, if you will.
Hey. Exactly. The Fonz is, he lives within us always. Did you grow up with Happy Days?
Of course I did.
Of course you did. So he's always with us.
I hear he's a
like
real.
God.
I hear Henry Winkler's a super lovely individual.
I can't. Arrested Development, I mean, it was amazing. Have
Yeah.
you watched Barry? Have you watched Barry?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
People, please, don't be like Marco. Watch
Okay.
Barry.
All right.
Fantastic. To be watched.
Okay.
Honestly, you and Amanda will...
We need to endeavor to get Henry Winkler on our show.
Okay. All right.
I don't
goals.
know. I don't know what he would.
Hashtag squad goals. That's great.
I don't know what he would do with regards to food and drink, but we'll ask him. What was it like at Arnold's? What is it? A tavern?
Diner,
yeah.
I believe.
What was the food like there, Henry? Okay. I have a couple of corrections I got to make off the top.
Well, number one, you're Marco Timpano. How
And
about that?
number one, you're Ali Hassan.
And number one, this is Eat and Drink. Those are all number one. Those are all of equal importance. Welcome back to the podcast.
Tick, tick, and tick.
You've got already with the apologies, Marco.
It's not an
So
apology.
soon.
It's a clarification, all right?
Okay, we'll see.
On last week's show, I said, people aren't drinking shots anymore. What I meant to say was shooters.
Yes.
So B-52 is a shooter, not a shot.
Yeah.
And you had correctly said, well, no, people, will down Jameson or
My
whatever, right?
degenerate friends, yes.
So I was like, I used the wrong word there. So shooter. The Poussey Cafe that I
Yes.
mentioned before is in fact...
It's something from your imagination. It doesn't exist in the real world. I knew it.
No, it is a layered drink. I've noticed 5 layers in my research, but I remember having a 7-layer Poussey Cafe. And I just want to translate the word. Poussey Cafe means coffee pusher. So Poussey in French.
I come from a French land.
Yes,
I'm
I know.
very well aware of what it means, but I also know what it sounds like and what they're probably aiming for there. Come on!
Fair enough. Listen, you let the perversion in your mind twist whatever you want in this podcast, and that's your right. I also want to mention something because we don't talk about this. We need rules for what's in Marco's mouth, which is the segment, if you haven't heard before, is going to come later in the show.
You impose some rules right now, and I'm out. I'm out of this
No,
podcast.
because I feel like people listening are going to be like, well, how many times does he get to taste it? And what qualifies a win? So I'm going to say this. I'll only be allowed to taste it 3 times. And I can't not give an answer because a couple episodes I said, I don't know what it is. I'm going to give an answer regardless.
Yeah.
And maybe on the second or third try, I will ask you how many ingredients are in total just to help me be able to at least give out as many as I think.
At the point where you ask me how many ingredients are in it, have you lost? Have you effectively not?
I think I need to get 75% of the dish correct. How's that? Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I felt like it was a win last time. The cashew butter. I mean, you said nut butter.
Yeah.
Now then you're gonna it's not technically a nut and all this. You're too technical.
I'm gonna let our audience decide on that one.
Okay.
But going forward, I need to get 75% of it right.
Okay.
Is that all copacetic with you?
Absolutely.
Great.
Those are good rules. I was worried about these rules.
So last week we talked about, because you're on this crazy diet.
The Whole 30?
Whole30.com.
I make no money from that.
/ Ali Hassan
Yeah, exactly.
for 25% off.
I wish.
We talked about a coffee that I had never seen before called an island coffee.
Well, it's
or cafe, island cafe.
You're actually you're blurring history here.
Okay.
In a way that obscures your own genius.
As a lot of white people have done in the past.
I know. I mean, it's your way.
Yeah.
It's your way, right? It's something genetically you're predisposed to doing. But let me tell you about what you did here. I told you. Let's try to have a drink without any booze in it, if possible, because I can't really drink booze. So it was nice to watch you make that shooter.
Sure.
But I also like to drink things.
Of
So
course.
I was like, maybe while we do these shows, while I'm doing the Whole 30, let's think of something. And you were like, maybe a coffee drink. And I was like, yeah, we can use coconut milk. And you said maybe a coconut cappuccino. And I said, yeah, but I know you, and you're going to be like, it's not a cappuccino. This technically shouldn't really be. You're going to go with the whole technically thing. And I said, buddy, it's the old story of like you got a tray of kebabs, they fall on the ground and break into pieces, and now you go, you know what? It's meatballs and tomato curry sauce, and you just rework the dish. So you reworked it in your mind in, I would say, under 5 seconds. You went, huh? Island Cafe.
Yeah, Island
That's
Cafe.
how quick it was. You reworked things and you turned it. Who wouldn't want an Island Cafe? What kind of savage, demented person would hear the words Island Cafe and say, "Not for me, thanks"? I mean, seriously, it's great. It's
Well, we'll
wonderful
see.
what you've
We'll see
done.
if it's great because I'm going to make it and have you try a few different versions of it till we decide which one it is, and then it'll appear in our show notes. So you're going to be the deciding factor
That's
here.
fine. Although you have some things here
I know.
that I can't.
I know.
Okay, all right.
I know. And so those things are for me.
Okay, good.
So
together we're deciding. Then I think
together we're going to decide. So what we're going to do here is because I was a barista, and not only is alcohol important when you're making drinks, but coffee, if you're working at a proper bar, is important. And I value a good espresso, cappuccino, latte, you name it. I value it. So what we're going to do here, rather than make a cappuccino, I figured an Island Cafe should be smaller. So more like a
espresso lungo.
No, because that would
Smaller
just be
than that?
espresso. So it's going to be more than a macchiato,
Yeah.
less than a cappuccino
In quantity.
in quantity. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do here, let's start with the first one, okay? So I've got here my espresso cup, and I'm going to put a little bit of coffee in here, espresso coffee. So I'm going to say about an ounce, let's say an ounce of espresso in there for you.
I would love if you turned your back to reach for an ingredient and I just did a shot of
You
espresso,
could,
but
'cause I have-
every single time.
I have enough there. And what I'm going to do, and I don't know what this is going to sound like on our podcast, and if it sounds horrible, oh well, what can I do? But I'm going to froth some coconut milk. And this one's from a can, which is just coconut milk. Okay?
Now, is that a
Are you-
frother? It looks like a spice grinder. to
No,
me.
this is actually a frother that will froth milk. It
Okay.
uses a little this thing.
Oh, okay. That little coil thing
Yeah.
that you may have seen. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so I'm going to put enough.
Now,
in
what
it.
were you asking me about this coconut?
This one is just coconut milk from a can.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that you can have this, whatever.
I can.
This is
I
something-
can. Let me take a look
Yeah,
at the ingredients,
sure.
but usually, unless these people are savages of some kind, the ingredients should
That
only
twirling is me frothing the coconut milk. Now I don't know how well coconut milk is going to froth. That's why I brought some alternatives.
Okay, so as it turns out, this is awkward. I can't have this
Oh
for
shame!
3 different reasons.
Oh, no.
God damn it!
Is it the guar guar?
It's the one after that, and then the one after that,
okay.
and then
All
the
right.
sulfites.
I'm
What are
sorry.
you going to do? I'm going to have. Look, I'm going to watch you have it again.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
gonna
no,
watch
I
you
have
eat
another
something.
alternative. I have
Do
another
you?
alternative. See if you can have. So I also got, apart from this, the silk, no unsweetened
Yes.
coconut milk.
Okay, let's see.
Oh man.
I'm a horrible person right
Let's
now.
just stop this because otherwise that should be enough. If you're not going to have it, I'm going to just deal with it.
Oh, this I can have.
That you can have. Okay.
All
great.
right. Thank
Great,
you,
great.
Silk Unsweetened Original Coconut brand.
Okay, so what I've done is I frothed some coconut milk from a can, which Ali cannot have.
It looks amazing. by
And
the
what
way.
I'm going to do for myself is I'm going to put some booze in it. And the booze of choice, I should have got an island rum, and I meant to, but instead I got Bailey's. So I'm going to just have it with Bailey's.
You did this again, huh?
So I'm going to
Just
have some
improv.
Bailey's. Yeah, and now what I'm going to do for myself, even though I have froth, and I know you can't have this, I've got coconut, what's this called? Whipped cream.
Coconut whipped cream. Didn't even know it was a thing until
Yeah,
right
so it's
now.
made with coconut milk, and there's, I think you can have it. There's
There's a lot of sugar.
There's
Let's
a
not
bit
be-
of sugar.
There's a bit of sugar.
And what I'm going to do
you
is
are a
I'm gonna,
pusher. You're a
let's just
Poussey
make
Cafe
sure-
yourself,
I am
by
a
the
little
way.
bit
You
of a
know
Poussey
that.
Cafe. Okay, that's the sound of coconut. Let's see if it will sit. Okay. And now
I
what
feel
I'm
like
going to
that
do
was an
after,
unnecessary step.
no, listen. I think it's a necessary step. It wasn't. I think I did it wrong. I should have put that in first. And now to finish it off, I'm going to take some cocoa
Yes.
and I'm going to put it on top.
Amazing.
And because I like some island spice, I'm going to put some nutmeg.
Nutmeg. Great.
Okay, and that one is mine. Now for yours, I'm going to.
Just take a big chunk of it. No? Take a
not
big
big.
swig.
So that looks pretty cool. The one that I made.
It looks great. It looks like a really nice, appealing. It's like somebody. Let's say somebody didn't need a venti portion of something like this. This is a Starbucks drink you just created.
This is kind of like the. What is that coffee called? The Spanish one.
Spanish coffee. I
Yeah.
believe it's called Spanish coffee.
No.
It has another name.
People are going to be screaming at me right now.
Oh, my God,
It's
I
a cross between a macchiato. It's a little bit more than a macchiato, And I'm just going to froth yours up. While that's frothing, I just want to say, I was once the espresso chef to the Rolling Stones. I don't know if you know that.
We've spoken about that.
I almost put it in that one.
Oh my God, Marco, please stop sabotaging my health decisions, please. You almost poured the coffee on top of the canned. What were you called? The spray can. The spray can coconut. And he spilled a little bit of coffee.
I spilled a bit of coffee. Sorry about that, buddy. We're the smallest studio around, and I've got 15 different gadgets going on here. Okay.
And also true to form, earlier Marco was kind enough to forget the coffee for his coffee-based drink.
Well, thanks for
Hey, there are no secrets.
There are no
with the
secrets.
Eat and Drink community.
So yeah, I was asked by Ashley Comeau, who I think you know Ashley Comeau.
I do.
Ashley Comeau was working for TIFF, which is the Toronto International Film Festival, and she's like, Marco, can you make espressos for me at one of these big theaters? I'm like, sure, of course. What do you need? And she's like, well, the Rolling Stones are in town, and what's his name? Charlie Watts.
Oh boy, this is not a good Rolling Stones story. All of a sudden, it's such a good. What's his name? Charlie Watts? Yes, drummer Charlie Watts. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not a big fan of the Rolling Stones,
Okay.
so I was like, yeah, whatever, right? I was very unimpressed. And yours is not frothing, so it's not going to be frothed, I'm afraid. As much as I
don't
try.
want you to be afraid. I think that's fantastic. Why wouldn't it froth?
Because it's not
Thick enough?
doesn't have the protein in it that milk does to help it froth, right? But the other one is thicker and has more, I guess, of the fats in it.
Okay, so
This
if you're
has
trying
less
to froth
fat.
a drink, you cannot
Yeah.
really froth coconut milk, maybe not even almond milk. I'm not sure.
No,
But
you
anyway.
can't really froth them. I thought the can would froth, and it did. But would you like chocolate, cinnamon, or nutmeg grated on it, or nothing?
I would like to have it just like
Just
that.
like that?
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. It doesn't look pretty, yours. Mine looks prettier. But so I had to
looks like
make
it's
coffee
700 calories.
for
Yeah.
Charlie Watts because he got off his whatever thing he was doing in
Strictly
the past.
cocaine diet,
Yeah,
yeah.
and now in its place he has multiple shots of espresso a day,
yeah.
and they needed an espresso chef, so I was there cooking it up for them, so to speak. How was that?
So this is really just a Charlie Watts story. Or
Well, no-
as you like to call him, old what's his name. And this is not really a Rolling Stones
No, because
story.
Mick wasn't there.
Right.
And Ronnie Wood was also there. And I had to look
What
at
about
it.
Keith Richards, the one that we all care about? Did he put you in a headlock
He
and
wasn't
dunk
there.
your head in a pool of cocaine?
No,
or
he
never?
wasn't there.
All right.
But he's, I think, is the coolest one. That's the one I like the best.
No, I was
Yeah.
waiting for the Keith Richards part of the story.
How was your island?
I like it,
espresso?
and I would even love some more if you don't
Oh,
mind.
yeah, of course.
Yeah? Could I?
Yeah. Oh, the Bailey's makes this work really nicely for me. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Well, we got two success stories over here. So I personally, I'm very new to this. I drink espresso regularly, but putting coconut milk
yes.
inside your espresso, this is a new thing for me, and I rather enjoyed it.
It looks nice. It looks like the color is right. The color is right.
Look, if I'm off sugar, so
Yeah.
this has a sweet.
Oh,
and
I see. So
naturally
this is
sweet
gonna
flavor
work
as
for
well,
you.
too, so that's good too.
Anyway, so I made it for the Rolling Stones or for Ronnie and what's his face there
Charlie Watts,
and
yeah.
Charlie, and now I make it for you. So it's my pleasure.
From your hands to the Stones to me, 1 degree removed from the Rolling
Yeah.
Stones. Look at me.
I then had to be their bodyguard because they didn't have bodyguards to get them into their vehicle after the show.
This is a good story.
And so Ashley Comeau's like, Marco, would you be their bodyguard? I'm like, you want me to be their bodyguard? And she goes, look at who I have. And she had all these volunteers. And you know how volunteers are for film festivals. They're not the bulkiest, brawniest people in the world. They're lovely. You know, they have got glasses. They got a limp. They're older, whatever, like a cane. So they're not the best suited bodyguards. So we made a chain.
That said, you're a hand model who serves coffee to people. I mean, the fact that you were better suited is
I was the Lou Ferrigno of the gang,
hilarious.
of the gang of the makeshift gang.
Lou Ferrigno used to play a character called the Hulk. For those of you who the younger demographic listening right now.
Yes.
And if I have to explain who the Hulk is, then
Well,
I'm
then
out.
we gotta,
No.
But we escorted them. They thanked me because they knew I was first they were impressed that Tiff got them an espresso chef.
Yeah.
Second, they were impressed that I was there just making it solely for them. They weren't expecting that. So they thanked me. They were really lovely. I can't say enough nice things about the Rolling Stones or the ones that I've met. I could say a lot of not nice things about you, but that'll come
But this is
forth.
not the time for that.
Fair enough.
All I'm doing is sitting here and critiquing you on your memory of people in your stories and legendary musicians. Is that so wrong?
No.
Is that so wrong
It's
that I
not.
would do that here today?
All right, you know what?
Okay.
I'm passing the baton to you, Ali.
Let's do it.
All right. You and I do this weird little dance when we sort of set ourselves up for this portion of the show, where I have to be to your back and you have to be my back so I don't see what you're bringing from the kitchen.
I know, otherwise I yell, "Don't look!
Don't look! Don't look!"
The dance is done.
The dance is done.
But that dance is actually more important for about 20 minutes from now. Right now, you didn't really say it, but I'm going to come out and say it. Today is a celebration of all things coconut.
Yes.
Right? Like we often don't have the back of house and front of house, the eat and the drink in sync like we do today.
Yeah,
You
today
made this IslandCafe thing, and I said, let me get a little islandy myself. And I was like, why not coconut? I'll also feature coconut in a dish. And coconut is just, I mean, what a resurgence.
What a versatile food item.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better. The
Yeah.
word versatile is so perfect for this. It is so many things. Just the humble, hairy, ridiculous, clownish-looking coconut
Yes.
can be turned into, I mean, right now you can use coconut clusters, coconut chips, coconut, desiccated coconut, coconut flour is great.
Coconut
for people.
water.
Coconut water. Coconut
Desecrated.
cream. Desecrated, I'm not familiar
Okay.
with. Interesting product, though. I'm sure it's got legs. Coconut ice cream, obviously,
Yes.
right? So all
If
these
you're
things,
lactose, for sure.
This is the thing. So it's delicious. Well, let's say it's like a great substitute for people who can't have certain things. You can't have regular flour. You can have coconut flour. You can't have regular.
Right.
But then, as a bonus, it doesn't taste like garbage. It actually tastes amazing. Sometimes better than the thing you're trying to avoid.
I also want to mention about coconut oil. It's great externally. So if your hair is very dry, put some coconut oil in your hair to remove makeup.
But I was just getting there, and you are preaching to the choir
Listen.
in a way you have never preached to the choir. What do you think I'm using on this noggin right
No.
here? I shave my head on an almost daily basis
Okay.
with coconut oil.
No.
Yeah. You know how good it feels
And
to
you're-
stick it to the man that I'm not buying your shaving product, Gillette, Menon, whoever
Sure.
you are. I don't know.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't mean to shit on these companies, but
and they've
I
got
mean, they just feel
chemicals
good.
in it, and
This is it.
And
This is the real
foams.
issue.
Oh man, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
great, and no wonder your noggin looks always so wonderful.
I appreciate you finally mentioning something nice about my noggin. It is, it's pretty smooth, and then again, in winter, it's just great for your skin, man.
If you've got dry skin, once again, I have a friend who swears by using it to remove her makeup.
yeah, oh yeah,
I use it on my hands sometimes. It's
Okay,
great. Yeah.
that's a hand model. Speaking,
well,
folks,
there you
that
go.
is a hand model.
I love coconut. I always say this, Ali. Things always taste better when you drink them out of a coconut. And I know it's like ridiculous when you go to these tropical destinations and they serve you in a coconut, but I just love it. There's something about it that just it reminds me when I was a kid and I watched Fantasy Island.
Yes.
And they'd get off the plane and they were handed
the plane.
and they'd be handed a coconut drink with giant umbrellas and hibiscus flowers and whatnot. And it takes me back to that 5-year-old Marco, and I just need to have things in a coconut.
Did you used to do impersonations of Hervé Villachez? Did you?
No.
Mommy, I want my drink of the coconut. No?
No, I would
Anyway.
do it of Christopher Hewitt, who replaced him.
Oh,
later
come
on.
on. That is...
Boss, the plane is here. I have no idea. I have no idea. What he
Okay,
said.
back
Okay.
to the coconut,
Yeah.
although we'd never really left it, if we're being honest
No,
with each
it's
other. You were on Fantasy Island with coconuts, with more coconuts. But it's just funny you say that. You remember Ina Garten? You know who that is?
Yeah, of course, the Barefoot
kid.
Contessa.
Yeah. So she would say things like that, but not about coconuts. She would be like, and by the way, this dish always tastes better when you eat it in a vineyard. I'm like, okay, you know what? My vineyard, it's out of commission right now, Ina. Can I still enjoy this dish?
Can I call bullshit on that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay,
I
'cause
pray that you will.
I was a tour guide in Italy, and we would ride our bicycle through vineyards, and they're beautiful to see and whatnot, right? However, Ina, you also have to mention that a lot of these vineyards are so sprayed with chemicals that to eat amongst these vineyards might not always be the best thing. So
you hear that, Ina? Take that, Ina.
There you go.
Put some
shoes on
all the time.
Put some shoes on.
Put some shoes
a zocola or two. Okay, there we go.
So anyway, it didn't sound ridiculous at all to say eating in a coconut. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a coconut
fair
for
enough.
you to eat
Listen.
it. But what I do have is this beautiful plate here, which is, what is this, a pear? A lemon? It's a lemon. It's a beautiful lemon plate. It's shaped like a lemon, and the curry just sings on it. What I made...
My mom bought this.
Your mom bought it? I really like it. I really like it. I'm not joking.
Amanda wants to get rid of it, and I'm like, well, we need it if my mom comes over. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit ridiculous, but okay.
I love it.
All right.
I love it for what it is because I've got some plain white rice on the base, and I put a coconut curry on top. Now, your coconut curry, listen,
Can I eat while you're talking? Oh,
so another comment about the versatility of coconut. You know, you can make Thai,
this is
Malaysian,
wonderful.
South Indian. You can put coconut and milk in so many different types of curries. So this is more South Indian influenced. This is an eggplant coconut curry.
Sorry, what makes it South Indian versus...
A little bit more spice. If this was going to be Thai, I would maybe have lime leaves. I would have lemongrass. It would be a little bit more fragrant. This is a little bit more, I would say, pungent in flavor.
The coconut. So what did you use of coconut in this?
I used coconut milk. So it's curry powder, and then it's chili powder. It's a few cumin seeds, and with what I call GOG, ginger and garlic and onion puree, and that's fried in oil. Some tomatoes are added.
That this dish lacks. So you've got a lot of vegetables.
Would have lacked.
Thank you. Had it not been the humble coconut and the coconut milk here. It also binds it in such a nice way that it's kind of the through line of this dish, right? Because it brings all these things together in a very hearty kind of way. Minus the rice, even if I'm just eating the vegetables, it gives me that sort of strength. That boldness that I need, I think, is because of the coconut
Isn't
milk.
that amazing that it does that? A coconut in a coconut curry, it binds. It's a vehicle, and it also provides. Oh my God, it's too much. Stand down, coconut. You're overworked. You're doing it all.
That's not to diminish the fact that the curry really gives us the sensual flavor that this dish has, and the rice just holds it up, supports it all, right?
We're getting sensual here in the Eat and Drink Studios.
What's with the dill?
Listen, I needed some color. Don't
just
even.
So it's just garnish.
That's it. That's it. I was actually looking for some cilantro or basil, something
You're not
like
gonna,
that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to find it.
Not in my house right now because everything is the basil's done.
Yeah, which I asked you the other day for basil.
It was like
that was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. That basil was crying. It was a basil leaf that was actually.
You know how delicate basil is when it encounters a cold snap. Boom, my basil's gone. So I just need to go buy fresh. I generally only eat and drink fresh basil.
Yes,
I'll make myself a basil smoothie in the morning with a bit of milk. No,
you might be onto something. Huh? Who knows?
Could you imagine a basil milkshake?
Find out.
People would have it. I know because it was like, have you ever had gelato like olive oil and basil gelato? Like these weird
of course.
Yeah. People,
with all the potential flops that you've brought into the studio and you've turned into something, why not try the basil smoothie, Marco? We're on to something. Come on.
We are. I also want to say something. You know, listening back to our shows, it's a lot of us lip smacking and chewing. And it's like these gross sounds that we make on this podcast. And we make them for you, our listeners.
For you. This is out of love. You think we want to eat this stuff, huh? We hate this stuff. This is for you. We sacrifice for our art and our listeners. Not true. We enjoy eating. I enjoy watching Marco eat, too. Is that weird to say that?
No. It's the highest compliment for a chef.
Yeah.
To watch people eat their food and enjoy it.
Unless they shovel it in their face and they go, could I have some more hot sauce? And you're like,
What would drive you crazy?
This is exactly that. Exactly that. I used to have a roommate. I mean, I would marinate short ribs for almost 48 hours.
Yeah.
He would come home on Fridays from Tampa, and I was working in Chicago, and he would come to our place where we lived together. He'd come Friday night. I'd been marinating something since like Wednesday morning. It would be in the slow cooker for 8 hours.
Yes.
It would be ready. I was really like, what a life what a life you would lead if somebody treated you with the love that I was giving my buddy who was my roommate. I mean, unbelievable. 48 hours, 8 hours cooking, 3 or 4 different types of Latin, Mexican flavors and chilies and this. You know, it was unbelievable what I was doing. Sits down, doesn't even try it yet. Goes, you have any hot sauce?
Oh man.
I'm like, buddy, there's a chile arbol, there's a pasilla chili, there's this chipotle paste in there. It's pretty hot. I know, but I know what I like, bro. Just give me some Tabasco. It would kill me.
As a waiter, what would drive me crazy is when people would add salt before they taste their food, or when they would ask for things without tasting what the chef had prepared. Even if the chef was an asshole and I didn't like him, I could respect the fact that he or she worked hard to create a dish.
Yeah.
And you should, as a patron or a customer, at least have the decency to try the dish prior to asking for whatever.
Absolutely.
And I get it. Some people like their dish to be a bit spicy or have a little bit more saltiness to it. Fair. But try it first.
And you only have that decency if you cook yourself.
Yeah.
It's only when you cook for others that you realize what is potentially offensive or ridiculous, you know?
Can I tell you what I do with coconut oil?
Man, I've been waiting this entire time.
So,
is this appropriate? Should we give a warning? Should we give a content warning? Or
you know what? I heard you can masturbate with coconut oil, and it's really amazing.
Content warning in retrospect. Okay.
Okay. Maybe I'll cut that part
No,
out.
no, cut that out.
I read that somewhere.
He's read that, folks. He's read it.
I've read it. But I want to say this,
Yes.
that I put a little bit of coconut oil in my espresso.
I've heard.
Every morning. A lot of people who are on a ketogenic diet will do that.
Yes.
But I also read that it is very good for people who have Alzheimer's in their family or have dementia to be doing that because it helps the brain. Coconut oil or having an oily brain really assists with that. So
Is there some benefit of having it in the coffee, or could you even just have a teaspoon of it?
You could probably have a teaspoon. I will say this, another warning, careful if you put coconut oil in your diet and you're not used to it, because it could give you the runs, and not in a marathon sense of the word.
Oh.
Runner's trots, the runs, the shits. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, you want to be cautious with coconut oil, because if you consume too much, it could have that effect on you.
Good to know.
Yeah, but I put a little bit in my coffee every morning when I have my coffee, and I don't really taste it. It has a little slight sweetness to it that I don't mind at all.
Which is not the worst thing. You have a little sweetness in your coffee, yeah.
The thing that might be bothersome to some people is that there will be some oil drops on the top of your coffee. So if you're not used to that, you might be like, oh, it just looks a little bit weird. But all I can say is get over it.
Right.
But I enjoy that. I do that. I do that.
You want Alzheimer's, or you want drops on your little drops of oil on your coffee? You gotta make some choices. And sacrifice has to be made.
Some people will use, if they're on a ketogenic diet, I believe it's grass-fed butter in their coffee as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But I prefer the coconut. I prefer the coconut oil. You know why? It's prevalent, so you can find it very easily.
Yeah.
It's inexpensive, relatively speaking. You can get a vat of it for like $19, $20, and it's going to last you a long time. Whereas if you're going to go searching for this butter, it's going to be expensive. You're not going to find it everywhere, and it's a bit of a pain.
I also will say that I just enjoy both those things separately.
Sure.
So I would probably just have a teaspoon of coconut. And I've done that in the past. I do some mouth rinsing sometimes with coconut.
What's it called? It's called
pulling.
You do pulling, yeah.
That's a different. That's 20 minutes in your mouth of just, swishing it around your mouth. I'm talking about just rinsing it, trying to getting it. It's supposed to be good for your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even have a dentist friend who, the medical profession usually doesn't like things like this. You go to your doctor and you go, hey, I've been rubbing pineapple on the underside of my testicles, and it's helping me. I read about this, and doctors roll their eyes. But with this, even a dentist friend of mine was like, yeah, you should do that.
Yeah, that's great.
It's not a substitute for anything. And again, I am not a dentist. I'm obviously a doctor.
Have you played one on TV?
Not a dentist, but a doctor a couple of times.
And your doctor role, what would you recommend to our listeners? If you were playing that role right
in that role, one of the things I recommended was do not save tabs from pop cans to get a wheelchair. There's no such. Do you know about that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about that thing? That's not a thing. That's an urban myth. That's an urban legend. Yeah. You could save 1 million pop cans, the tabs, and you will never get a wheelchair. That's not a thing.
So why were we saving them in school and stuff?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, wow.
It's a myth. Matt, your friend Andrew DeAngelis cleared that up for me. He wrote that script where I was a doctor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are heartbroken on that one.
Oh, you just broke my coconut heart.
You know what? You sell them on buns or something. You just don't tell the people. Don't share the news with them. Just say trying to get rid of a bunch of tabs.
Oh, man.
Decided I don't want a wheelchair anymore.
Well, listen, I want to say one thing. Thank you for feeding me this as we go into the next segment.
Yes.
Because my mouth is already like sort of really, all the flavors are intensified.
Yeah.
And we're going into our next segment where I've got to taste more things.
Spoiler alert, it's my favorite segment.
What's in Marco's mouth? That's right. What's in Marco's mouth? It's nothing dirty. Will he guess it? Will he mess it? Let's find out. What's in Marco's mouth?
Here we are.
Okay, putting the blindfold on.
Okay.
Little
Are you
tech
ready?
stuff. All right, I'm ready.
There's just something comedic about this look. I don't know if you can fully appreciate.
Who can really sort of reveal these things, and I'm just doing my best, folks. All right.
Not good enough. Let's
Okay.
go.
All
Here
right.
we go. All right, open
Okay.
up, buddy. Open up.
Okay, first, is it
Here we
large?
go.
Is it
We're
large?
already
Okay.
with the excuses. Just yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah. Not giving you any clues yet.
Okay, he's put something in my mouth that is very powdery and sour. Almost like it's almost like you took Tang and you put it in my mouth. But it's not Tang. It's a soury sweet powder.
Okay.
Well, you could have warned me before you did this, man. I wasn't.
You know what this is? Okay, anyway, I can't give a clue. I can't give a clue, but there was no warning for a reason. It is by design that I gave no warning.
Are you able to put it in my hand this time?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
You wanna
It's a
do-
powdery substance that's sour, then it turns sweet. It's almost like a flower. I want to say like little pieces of a flower.
There's a little bit in your hand
Okay,
there.
thanks. It has no discernible odor. I feel like it's going to change the color of my tongue and my mouth.
I worry that you think you're eating that powder that goes in the Nerds packets. Not Nerds. What was it called? Fun Dip.
Fun dip.
I
No,
worry that
but
you're-
it's not that. I know, but I'm eating it like that because I'm wetting my index finger and dipping it into my hand. And,
You're like a child. You're like an infant right now.
oh, I
Blindfolded
know this flavor. I'm telling you, I know this flavor.
I don't doubt it.
But it's not consumed like this. That's the thing. It's put into things. It's almost flowery. I want to say it's like a flower. It's like a.
He's licking his hands.
It's a spice-
like Prince used to in one of his videos.
I would die for
okay,
you.
I'm gonna time to give you a hint here.
Okay.
I feel like I've been trying to insert red herrings lately, and
Okay.
it's this inside of a this wrapped into this, and
Yep.
I thought, let me just give you the product. So
It's
this
just-
is not mixed
it's-
with anything.
it's
this
one-
is one solitary product. It is not messed with, but obviously you see what form it's
Yeah.
in.
It's in a powdery.
And I thought this was a winner for you. I wanted you to get one in the win column.
Oh,
And
man.
that's what I wanted here because I made it. I didn't mess with this thing at all.
Yeah, it is. It is very.
Okay, one hint: Middle Eastern in nature.
Okay, Middle Eastern in nature. So Middle Eastern.
Eastern in
I feel
usage.
like rose water. They use roses. They use parsley, but it's not parsley. It's sweet. That's the thing. It's kind of sweet and sour. It's very sour. Middle Eastern. I think pomegranates.
I feel like people
think
would be getting it right now. You're describing it very well.
It's almost like powdered dill, but it's
and you
not.
said pomegranates right now.
Yeah,
that's
pomegranates.
a nice. That's a good description. It's dried pomegranate tea, but it isn't.
It's not pomegranate tea. No.
No, no.
Okay. So
I'm
it's
meaning pomegranate-ish.
Yeah,
and dried, but it's not
tea.
that.
Like it's not mint tea. They use a lot of Moroccan teas. Will be mint.
The word tea was meant as ish or esque.
yeah,
It's not to do with
because it has that kind of leafy. It's fine, powdery, leafy. Okay, I'm just gonna guess because as I said off the top of the show, I'm not going to leave it blank. I'm gonna say that it is. It is. I know I'm gonna
He's
kick
giving
myself.
himself a headache. He's rubbing his temples right now. He's so upset.
I'm gonna say it is a spice of some sort, and it's a sweet spice. I'm gonna say it is a. I don't even know. This is the worst Middle Eastern. I'm gonna say tang. It's powdered tang. What is it?
All right, buddy.
Okay, I've taken off my blindfold.
Taking off the blindfold, I present to you
Ground
sumac.
sumac.
Come on, you've had sumac before. For those of you who don't know sumac,
I did not say sumac because you used sumac before in an item. I was thinking sumac, and I was like,
use it as a seasoning on a salad, on top of a hummus. It's like my go-to with kebabs. If I make like a Middle Eastern type of kofta, kebab, chicken, even fish, it is a great seasoning. It comes from a berry, if you don't know, and it's dried, it's ground, and it is exactly as Marco described.
Why don't I just say
what you mean?
I literally thought to myself, it can't be sumac because he's already used sumac in one of the.
But not in a what's in Marco's mouth.
Yes, you have.
No.
Yes.
What? Oh, it was in a.
It was in one of our first shows.
See, but this is an example of how I'm trying to throw you off so bad with like.
I was gonna say, why didn't I say it? Listen, I'll take it as a loss because I didn't say it. I chose to say the ridiculous tank.
We've all learned something today.
Well, folks, thank you for listening. I'm sorry that I didn't guess it correctly. But thank you, Ali, for actually giving me something that was in its purest form.
I tried. Next time, I'm putting 17 ingredients together because, dude, there's just no helping you.
That's a lot of sumac.
It's a lot of sumac. And look, it's already half done in this container. This is 225 grams of sumac. I may have given some to a guest who came over and liked it, actually. I don't know what it was.
Product of Lebanon.
Product of Lebanon.
Tell your friends about Eat and Drink and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, and every other app you can.
Thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure. Until we eat again.
We hope you got your fill of Eat and Drink with Ali Hassan and Marco Timpano. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Podcast Eat Drink. Email them your cocktail and food suggestions to podcasteatdrink@gmail.com. Until the next episode, bottoms up.